This may be the best set that has ever been released because with Ranked around the corner, there are a bunch of new decks for you guys to play in Ranked. What up peeps, Nuggie here, and welcome to today's video of what deck should you be playing for the upcoming Season 13 of a Set 3B of Pokemon Pocket. Now, normally I just go ahead and give you what decks are currently strong and whatnot, but I thought before I go into that, we're going to show you at least 6 cards here that have actually made an impact in the entire meta. And what is really good about these 6 cards is the fact that it is current. It is into the current Pulsing Aura set. It's doing and performing considerably well in the metagame and tournaments right now. So undoubtedly these cards will carry on over in your rank journey when it opens up. So just a quick rundown of these before we show you the deck list for each of these. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, there'll be some of the decks that you've already seen many times over, and they either get a slight upgrade or a significant upgrade. Otherwise, there will be decks that are standalones. So I just wanted to highlight, starting with the first one here, the Mega Sceptile. It's just a fantastic a mega card because it's got the ability to not only do 130 damage, but it procs a poison tick, so it can do up to 140 damage. On top of that, it only requires 2 energy to use, and if you attack, then it will lose that 1 energy. Next up, we've got the dark type Pokemon, the Bombirdier. Now, this is a very strong I was about to say crown. It's a very strong supporting character for the dark type mons, especially with the Absol Hydreigon and the new Zoroark, even Darkrai. Essentially what it does is that dark type Pokemon, so long as the Bombardier is in the bench, the dark type Pokemon retreat cost will cost 1 less. Now, rare occasions you will maybe see 2 Bombardiers in the bench side, so if you have Darkrai in the active, then it's a free retreat, but most of the time 1 Bombardier is enough for that setup. After that here, we've got the Magnezone EX. Now, this is essentially an upgrade of the old Magnezone that does 110 damage for 3 energy. Now, this is the exact same purpose here. It's 3 energy, it loses 1 when it attacks, but rather than doing 110, it does 130 with a whopping 180 HP. Next up is going to be a significant buff for the fire type teams, which is going to be the Castform. Now, this Pokemon, just because it's Castform, is actually really strong, because so long as the Stadium card is in play, this not only does 30 damage, but it can also burn them as well. So it's 50 damage, and for 1 energy, 1 retreat, this is a great aggressive Pokemon to use before you switch out to your main damage dealer, whichever that may be. And then we've got the new Zoroark EX card here as well, which is also a really cool card to use, just because it is like the old GA Pikachu, Genetic Apex 1, but this one only requires 1 energy. With combining this with a Bombardier here is essentially an upgraded version of the Genetic Apex version of what Pikachu could do in the past. And the last but definitely not least, because I think I've seen the most gameplay out of this, is the Mega Lucario. It is a really fantastic 190 HP, 2 energy cost to do 90 damage, but if you're able to stack a 3rd energy on it, then it will do an additional 50, so all up 140 damage. Now, I'm not even yet explaining about all the other supporting cards around it, so let's jump right on into some of the decks here, and you'll see what I mean, where there will be some decks that are slightly buffed, some are significant, and they're just brand new decks that are just downright dominating the meta. Alrighty folks, let's go on to the first one, which is going to be the Mega Sceptile deck. Now, shout out to my boy Zaviram here, who is part of just a really great content creator. Recently won a Pocket Match tournament with this exact deck, and I just wanted to show you. Now, obviously there are many variations of Mega Sceptile that you can build, but I just wanted to give you an example of what we will be seeing in the ranked scenes here. And I apologize for all the lovely full art you see here, but once you get a lot of these decks, you just really want to kind of decorate it as best you can with what you got. But I just wanted to highlight here that he, if I go over to the view cards and deck here, He runs a Katana, which does 40 damage. He also runs a Pheromosa, which does 20 and snipes the bench. And then we've got the Chingling in case he goes after anything that is after stage 2 or uses item cards. The Treecko here is just a basic 20 damage, but when it evolves into Grovyle, it will cost 2 energy and it will do 50 damage to anyone on the bench. Cannot attack the active, but it is really handy tool to have. And then when, of course, you get into the Mega Sceptile form here, it does 130 damage and applies a poison tick. So this is a very, very strong deck, and what makes it really unique in a way is the fact that you don't actually need Pokeballs, because the Fragrant Forest here allows you as a stadium card to draw without coin flip, which is really, really important, to draw a basic Pokemon from your deck into your hand. So it is a very, very strong composition here. Pairing it up with Rocky Helmet and all that stuff, the Mega Sceptile can essentially do 160 damage right off the bat. But overall, this setup is really strong, and I recommend you guys to try it out before you head into the rank, because you're gonna see that the results are amazing. The next new card that is actually a crown, and honestly this is one of those cards that deserves the crown, is the new Bombirdier. Now, as I said before, that this Pokemon is the new change of an upgraded version for decks like Hydreigon here, because essentially if this is in the bench, then all your active Pokemon's retreat cross will cost 1 less, which is really, really good for the new Hydreigon deck. Now you can see that instead of the Nihilego Poison Barb that a lot of people used to use in the past, they've switched over to the Rocky Helmet, just because it will do the same thing, but that free retreat is just ever so sweet. And some people do use the hiking trail and whatnot, but because of what the bird can do, and especially in the fact that it's a 1 energy, it's got 30 damage, so it does have a usage to get rid of those pesky babies if they're trying to cause you any grief, whether it's Chingling or Igglybuff. It's just a really top-notch card. Now, the other use that this Bombirdier can be used in as well is going to join up with the new card, which is going to be the Zoroark one here. So this one, it's like I said earlier in the previous section here, that the Zoroark acts like the old genetic Apex Pikachu. Now, if I'm to bring up this fancy artwork here, you can see this Pokemon will do 30 damage for each of your benched Pokemon. It is essentially Pikachu back in the genetic Apex days, but now for Dark. Now, what makes it unique though is that its base form, the Zoroark, has a move called Ascension, which puts a random Zoroark, or any Zoroark, it doesn't have to be the EX one, you could combine it with other stuff, but it will basically evolve it, and that will give you just 1 less into the deck, so you don't have to, you just don't brick with this one. And then you can spend that time, because everything is 1 energy, you can spend the time to either build the Darkrai to cause more aggression, or the Mega Absol as well. So just showing you how much utility this bird has for multitude of dark decks is crazy. So this is definitely going to be a hot topic in the ranked scene, so get practicing. For the third of the 6 cards that are brand new into the era of Pocket here, we're going to go ahead with Magnezone EX. Now, in some ways, I'll say this is a slight buff, but at the same time, it's pretty strong. And when I say the slight buff, is because it's essentially an enhanced version of the old Magnezone, where you do 110 and you lose 1 energy. The process is essentially the same, but looking at the health pool, it's higher, of course. The retreat cost is higher. You can actually send this in last if you need to and kind of be the finisher, or you can stand up and be very aggressive at the start. Now, this deck you see has been used in multiple tournaments. I think it may have just dodged first a few times, but it's definitely come runners up, especially in our tournaments as well a few times. The coverage is there. If you're versing so much so another Ori or whatnot, you can use the Oris you have in hand here, or you can use the non-EX Magnezone that does 90 damage and for them to flip a coin. That's a good option there, but otherwise this is just going to be a rock solid deck to use. Its only weakness in a way is fighting, but it has some ways around that due to the Oricorio's been in play, but you guys seen this a lot, so not much more to be said about this, but this is one of those decks that are definitely a slight buff, but will be very strong in the meta. When Pulsing Aura first came out, and decks tournaments were being made from the Limitless website. One of the clear standouts of the whole deck was a resurgence of Blaziken decks, and it's all thanks to this Castform. This, at the time when it was released, before obviously ranks around the corner, everything, this was, we already know how strong Blaziken is in general, and the fact that we added Castform here that is able to do significant damage for a 1 energy cost, and with the use of stadiums here, you can see this just won so many tournaments, and so many Mega Sceptile decks were really frustrated in some ways, just because obviously it's one of the hard counters to that deck. Showing how strong it is. It's funny because it's only 2 cards, right? Normally people used to use the Furfro or the Heatmore at the time, or double Heatmore, whichever you may choose. But with this one here, you just apply aggression straight off the bat, and so long as you're able to pull, for instance, even by turn, what is it, 4, you get a Flame Patch and you have an evolved Blaziken, you can go in and start swinging. So again, it's like it's one of those things that not a lot needs to be said about the deck, but must highlight the Castform, because that's the thing that shapes the whole deck itself to keep it relevant and strong. Now, I don't think it is going to be the strongest thing out there, just because people have grown accustomed and they're developing counters to it, but it's definitely one of those games where you could use it as a quick game. You know, GG go next, whether you win or lose. But yeah, this is definitely going to be around. You're going to see it all over ranked, so just be prepared, because Castform is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the upcoming season 13. All right, peeps, last but not least, we're going to show you the Mega Lucario deck, and the card itself, of course, because it is a brand new card, but it's definitely been making waves all over the scene. People love this Pokemon and they want to make it work, and they have. So just to give you an up close version here, Fighting Pulse does 90 damage, but if you have an extra energy, it will do 140. Now, there are a plethora of different variants of Mega Lucario you can use. I'm going to give you the one that won a tournament that I saw that was very straightforward and simple to use, which is just simply a double Hitmontop and a double Mega Lucario. Hitmontop for the aggression, Rocky Helmet to put on the Hitmontop as well to do extra damage, and then you swing in and finish off with the Mega Lucario here. Very straightforward. Now, I will add though that there's a few cards to note that is really important and what makes it so strong. Apart from cards like Rocky Helmet here, we've got the new Karina card. Now this, when used, will do an extra 30 damage to EX, so it's basically a buff from red, but restricted to fighting, so any fighting type Pokemon can use this. All right, so that's going to give you ideas of not just Lucario, but other fighting Pokemon can do this, and that's really strong. And then this added on with the new Stadium card, the Arena of Antiquity. This here, so long as you're a fighting type Pokemon, you can do plus 20 damage. Pairing that with Karina, you're additionally doing an extra 50, which means Mega Lucario here by itself would do 190 damage. If you want to go for gold, you can combine with the regular Lucario as well for an extra 20 to do 210. But you can see why so many people are so excited about this card and this Pokemon. This deck is just one of the very many variants. There's another one with the Hitmonchan. There is a Rampardos, but I don't think it's as strong as the other 2 I mentioned. And of course, there is a Sleep Scam variant, which I'll probably do a video later on about just the Sleep Scam formula in general, because that's a big topic to talk about. But overall, I would say these are 5 to 6 of the decks that you're going to see a lot in ranks. So you can either choose these or you can go on with your own cook. But hope you like this video. Feel free to subscribe, comment, and tell me what you're going to go in with, you know, in your ranked season. And enjoy, guys. I'll see you on the next one.